Hello all, and welcome to my next video here on the Rooftop Two-Headed Cow Caravan of Treasure and sometimes Barter. And today we have a new episode of Journey Into Monthlies. I almost messed up the name on that. My monthly comic haul. This is for the month of March. So if you haven't seen one of these before, it's pretty much just my comic book haul. I get it from Midtown Comics. I order and get it delivered. Sometimes I'll have boxes from In Stock Trades or mycomicshop.com, aka Lone Star Comics. But my actual monthly comics I get month to month come out of Midtown. So there we go. This is going to be, like I said, the month of March, because I always order at the end of March so I can get everything I want. And then usually by the time it gets here, it's like the beginning of the next month. So you'll be seeing this in the beginning of April, but it's actually for March. But yeah, and that's what this little series is called, Journey Into Monthlies, where we take a look at the monthly comic books that I am getting. So let's go ahead and crack this open. Kind of go from there. We got Midtown Comics brown bag. We got our books. Turn those over and let's see what we got. Okay, first one up. Eternals. I really enjoyed the Eternals run. It's Kieran Gillen, Asad Rabish on art, and I really like Asad's art. I love his run with Jason Aaron on Thor. I think Kieran Gillen is actually at his best when he's doing these like cosmic epics. So I've really enjoyed his work on Eternals here. He's going to be doing essentially the main. I don't know. I'm trying to use my words here. Jonathan Hickman has left X-Men, and Jerry Duggan took over the main X-Men book. But Gillen is actually going to be doing a new book, a new X-Men book, Immortal X-Men. And it's going to eventually kind of tie into Eternal, so that's kind of what he's building up to. So I'm interested in that. Actually, the first issue might be in here. I think it's in this order too. But there's Eternals. It's been really good. I know there's people who have a lot of mixed feelings about the movie, but if you were, upset by the movie or you didn't like the movie, read this book. This book is actually really good. I think it's kind of a hidden gem. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. X-Men Legends number 12. This is, I believe, the end of this little run. Because I think X-Men Legends is restarting with an X-Men Legends number 1 again, because Chris Claremont's coming back. So they're kind of pushing it as a new number 1. So for at least the first run of X-Men Legends, it's going to come to an end, and then it's going to continue with a new number 1. So I've really enjoyed X-Men Legends. If you don't know what it is, it's basically old writers coming back to do little like 2 or 3 issue arcs and going on. So far, my favorite one was Peter David. He did a X Factor arc. It was really good. An old 90s, like early 90s X Factor arc. What do we got here? Looks like we have Spawn 320. Oh no, that's a preview for like April. I'm guessing they packed this wrong. There we go. So in my last video, you might have noticed that, or I talked about how I was trying to get back into Spawn. So here's Spawn 327. I do like this cover with Spawn, and we got the clown in the background. Violator. I always think of John Leguizamo, who looked like he was genuinely trying, but just it wasn't working. I got some things I can say about Spawn. I'm getting 4 different Spawn books because there's actually 4 Spawn books now. This is the main title. It's okay. I can't say it's great. I've read a lot of early Spawn, and this is nowhere near as good as that. I'm not the biggest Spawn buff or whatever. I like Spawn a lot as a character, but I've never really found his stories to be a whole lot of interesting to me, or a whole lot of interest to me. But getting back into it's been kind of weird because as my dog barks. It's been an okay book, but I can't say it's been necessarily good. It's kind of all over the place. So I don't know how long I'll keep up with Spawn, to be honest. The more I read it, the more I'm not liking it. So there we go. On the reverse side of that, there's a couple of things on the reverse side of that, actually. I had to flip the cover around again. I apologize. Gunslinger Spawn. This book has been awesome. Whereas I think this one's just okay. This one has been really good. I like the Gunslinger Spawn. It's pretty cool. So definitely recommend that. I'm going to put these Spawn ones to the side because there's a couple of other Spawn things in here I'm going to kind of go over. Okay, Batman the Knight. Chip Zdarsky's going to be taking over Batman soon, which I think is great. I'm excited to see what he does. I love his Daredevil run. So I'm excited to see what he can do with Batman. And to kind of go along with that, he's doing his own little Batman origin story. Not really like the origin story like you would expect, like a year one thing or anything. No, it's like Bruce Wayne training to become Batman. It's kind of like Batman Begins. It's like his version of Batman Begins, kind of. This is number 3 of 10. I liked the first 2 issues. I thought they were pretty good, so excited to see where this one goes. Cool cover. Okay. Thor 23. This is the God of Hammers story. Thor, for a moment, was hard to find. Now, that's kind of been the story of Thor for a while, even back in Jason Aaron's run. Thor was selling out a lot, and it would be hard to find issues if you didn't order them right away. And that wasn't really happening with Donny Cates' run until this God of Hammers arc started, and then all of a sudden the issues started getting really hard to find. But yeah, name kind of speaks for itself. I won't say anything because of spoilers. I will say, I believe Donny Cates' Thor run is coming to an end. I think he's handing it off to somebody else after like Thor 24. Thor 24 is like a big anniversary issue for Thor. There's a lot of writers coming back. My most anticipated thing out of that is actually Walt Simonson is coming back to do a Beta Ray Bill story, and I want to read that so bad. I love his Beta Ray Bill stuff. But after that, I'm not sure where Thor is going, so, it could be interesting. I might be getting rid of Thor after almost... I mean, I gave up Daredevil after the last arc ended because they rebooted it. And even though I want to read it, I'll probably pick that up in trades. I just didn't feel like getting it monthly anymore. But I had been getting Daredevil monthly for over 10 years. And Thor, I think Jason Aaron's Thor started around that same time. And I've been getting it since then. So I might be done with Thor as well, which is wild to think that Daredevil and Thor, the 2 I was getting the longest, might be over now. Okay, here we go. Here's another piece of the Spawn puzzle that I want to talk about. We have The Scorched. I love Gunslinger Spawn. I think it's good. The regular Spawn book is so-so. Like I said, it's okay. There's nothing really inherently wrong with it, but it's kind of just feels weird. I don't like this book at all. I think this book sucks. If you're a big Spawn fan and then that you don't want to hear that, I apologize. Cool cover, but this is all over the place, man. It kind of feels like this whole Spawn universe thing is just all over the place, and it's kind of getting hard to follow. But this is easily the weakest book of the bunch. I've had a real hard time getting into it, and I like some of the characters that are in there, like Redeemer's in there, and I like Redeemer, and I like Medieval Spawn. It's just not hitting it though. Like I don't know if just getting all these Spawns together on a team is like, It feels weird because I always felt like spawns just work better, like the hell spawns, the different ones throughout history, kind of just work better alone. So I'm really just like, I don't want to see them all teaming up. It just feels weird. Um, but in terms of like the actual quality of the book, I do think this one's the worst. Most likely, this is the one I will drop first. Hell, I might not even get it next month. It's just been that kind of a meh book. So yeah. Okay, we have the Marvels. This is kind of a little, I don't want to say an anthology thing, but it's been a Kurt Busiek thing, kind of taking old Marvel stories, or like, classic versions of characters and telling older stories with them, showcasing a lot of different artists. Yeah, but great covers by Alex Ross. It's been pretty enjoyable. I don't know how long Marvels is supposed to last, but I feel like it's coming to an end pretty soon too. I might be wrong. But it's been enjoyable. Each arc kind of, or each book is kind of like its own little separate story, so you can kind of get one and go. Okay, this should be the last part of the Spawn puzzle here. And this is actually probably my favorite one of the bunch. I'm going to continue to get this one. King Spawn. This has been really good. King Spawn has been... It feels the most like older Spawn. Like those first like 50 to 100 issues of Spawn. This feels like that. Like this real down kind of street level with demons and shit, like it's really cool. I like this book a lot. So, if we're going through, and it's funny because this one and The Scorched are actually written by the same guy. So we have what I think is the best one of the bunch, King Spawn, which has been really good. I like this book a lot. And then Gunslinger Spawn, also really entertaining. I don't think it's as good as King Spawn, but it's a really fun book. I just like the whole kind of wackiness of Gunslinger Spawn. I think they're doing some really fun stuff there. Probably because it's Todd and Brett Booth. Brett Booth is always really good. Then I would go regular Spawn. It's okay. It's not bad, but I can't say it's good either. It's there. It's, the main Spawn book. You're going to get what you get. It's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of things going on all at once that get kind of confusing. But once you piece it together, it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. Wish it was better, but hey, it is what it is. And then easily the worst one, The Scorched. I'm growing to detest this book every time I read the first issue. I was like, okay, I kind of see what you're doing here. And then the second issue was like this big fall off, and I was like, oh, that sucks. And I think this is issue 3, so I'm just expecting an even bigger fall off. I'm not going to lie. There you go. Next up, we'll save this one for last, because this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Okay, we have Eternals, The Heretic. This is just a one-shot. The Eternals series that I was talking about earlier with Kieran Gillen has been basically like every couple of books, there's a one-shot thrown in there that kind of focuses on an Eternal. We had a Thanos one. I can't remember the other one. There's been a couple of different ones. This one is Eternals, The Heretic. And it kind of talks about like the original Eternal dude. I believe he's like Thanos' father or something. Anyways, there you go. So that kind of goes in there. Excited to read that one. Another Spawn book. Was there 2 issues of a Spawn book this month? Yes, there was. Okay. So along with Spawn 327, we have Spawn 328. I'm going to see how this book does. And if 327 and 328 turn out to be as mediocre as the ones I've read so far, I'm probably going to drop Spawn. I just don't see a need to keep going with it if it's just going to be filler after filler. That's what it feels like. It feels like a bunch of filler leading nowhere. That's the problem with it. King Spawn has a lot of really cool stuff. Gunslinger Spawn has a lot of really cool stuff. The Scorch sucks ass. And Spawn is just a lot of filler leading, what it feels like leading to nowhere. So we'll see what happens. A new number 1. Or no, this is number 2. My bad. I number 1 was last month. Yeah. Oops. Ghost Rider. Ben Percy's Ghost Rider. I love the first issue. I expect the second issue to be good. I'm a big Ben Percy fan anyway, so I'm not saying everything he's done has always been great, but I liked his Nightwing. I thought his Nightwing was actually pretty solid until they did the whole Rick. He left, and it wasn't his fault. After he left, they did the Rick Grayson stuff, and I couldn't stand it. But I liked his Nightwing. Before that, he has a great run on Green Arrow. It's amazing. His Green Arrow book is fantastic. His Wolverine book is the only one that's a little suspect. I haven't been the biggest fan of his Wolverine book. I read the first trade, and I was just kind of like, this isn't something I'm going to continue to get. But I like the first issue of his Ghost Rider. It's kind of getting back to the basics with Johnny Blaze, and I like it. So definitely going to keep getting this until there's some kind of crazy quality drop. And then lastly, we have, this is actually a wraparound cover, so I'll take it out. Earlier, you heard me talk about Immortal X-Men that Kieran Gillen was doing, and here we go. This is Immortal X-Men. I love this cover. It's The Last Supper, but with X-Men characters. So there you go. There's going to be a big Mr. Sinister kind of art going on in here, so definitely, if you're a big Sinister fan, go for it. But I'm interested to see how this is. It's kind of like... it's not going to be the main X-Men book, but it's definitely going to be kind of the most important one, I think. Because it's really what's leading into, like... it's what's really following Hickman and leading into the next thing. So, really excited to read Immortal X-Men. Obviously, a play off of Immortal Hulk a while back, which is one of the best series I've read in a long time. If you have not read Immortal Hulk, I highly recommend you do. But there we go. That is our comic haul for the month of March. Some good, some bad, and some indifferent. Couple of stuff on the fence. Spawn's on the fence for sure. And The Scorched is definitely on the fence. I don't expect that issue 3 of Scorched to impress me at all. So I expect Scorched to get scorched out of my lineup here. And then Spawn. If 327 and 328 don't do something to just tell me this is actually going forward with something, then I will probably drop Spawn as well. And see what else I can get later down the line. But there we go. Let's see. Let's give an award to Best Cover. Like, damn, like there was a lot of good ones this time. Obviously, like Assad Beach, every Eternals cover he does is good. Alex Ross doing Marvels obviously is going to be good. The King Spawn cover is good. Gunslinger Spawn. This regular Spawn 327 cover is really cool. I do like that one. Scorched one, the book sucks, but this cover's cool. Obviously, I believe this is another Assad Rabish, right? I think so. So, cool one there. To be honest, I think it's down to these two. The Ghost Rider one, I love the whole like kind of dual thing going on there with Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze. But just because of the aesthetic of it, I think I'm going to go with the Last Supper one, the Immortal X-Men Last Supper. Obviously, the Last Supper, is an iconic painting. You can get away with like kind of caricaturing it a lot and parodying it a lot, and I think doing it with the X-Men is kind of a cool, fun idea. So I'm going to give it to that one. But yeah, and then next month, kind of same thing here. I'll give you my thoughts on how the books are going, and it continues on. That's pretty much how Journey into Monthlies works. But beyond that, that's going to be it for this video. If you like the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. You do not have to if you do not want to, but I appreciate anybody who does. And I will catch you guys in the next video.